Hello YouTube and welcome to this Subnautica tutorial. Today we're going to be talking through how to build a base. Now this is a version 2 of this tutorial. If you've seen my previous tutorial, then we will be going through how to set up a base, how hull integrity works, and how to find some of the bits and pieces that you need to actually start making a base. Now to get started, you're going to want to grab yourself a habitat builder. You can build this using the fabricator that's in the pod. And once you've got hold of this, you're also going to want to build a scanner and go off and find the solar panel fragments. Now these fragments can be found in the creepvine areas, and the reason you're going to want to do that is because there is absolutely no point in building a base unless you can power it. So I believe it's 2 or 3 fragments that you need, and they're in the little cabinets and they can be found in the creepvine areas. Once you have that, it's time to get started. Now to build a base, you get the habitat builder here. You right click and you're presented with this menu. Now the first thing you're going to want to put down is a foundation. You can build rooms and corridors without foundations, but you tend to get quite a few glitches in terms of the land actually coming into your base, and it is generally a good idea just to put a foundation down anyway. As you see, when you hover over any of these, you have the resource requirement. So for foundation you're going to need titanium, for corridors it's titanium, glass corridors is glass obviously, and a hatch you're going to need some glass and titanium. Now to start your base, pick a suitable location. So I've just found a little area over here. When it goes green you can place, and it's just left click to start building. And you'll notice that when you build foundation around unlevel terrain, you do actually take out some of the terrain. It's not perfect, but it will give you kind of a flat area to work with. Now you can chain as many of these foundations together as you like. I'm just going to build 3 here so you can see what's going on. And then we have a nice flat area to build our base. Now, in this menu you may have also noticed that there is a HP value. This stands for the hull integrity value that this item gives you. So when you start a new base, it starts off at 10 hull integrity, or 10 hull points. Every time you place down a foundation, you gain another 2 hull points. So with our 3 foundations here, we're now up to a total of 16. Now the reason this is important is because items like rooms, or hatches, or pretty much most other items in this menu here actually reduce your hull integrity or your hull points. So for example, if we were to put a hatch on this base, then we would lose 1 hull point. Now the reason this is important is because if the hull points actually go below 0, then your base will start to flood. You can prevent some of this with building bulkheads between corridors to stop the water going through, but eventually your entire base will flood. So it's a good idea to try and keep that value above 0. Now in the top left hand corner you will see every time that you build something what the new hull integrity of your base is, so it's easy to keep an eye on it. If you build something that reduces it below 0, you can quickly deconstruct by actually pressing Q, and it will start to deconstruct, and you can leave it in a partially built state like this and it doesn't actually count towards your base. So quickly deconstruct something, build more foundations, or build reinforcements or anything like that, get it above 0, and then just finish off what you're building. Now actually when you start the game you won't have everything that's in this menu. As of the PRAWN update, the multi-purpose room needs to now be scanned, and you'll find this in abandoned bases that are littered across the world. I'm not going to tell you where. I will leave a note in the annotations for anybody who wants to know where you can find it, but I won't say it on the video just for reasons of spoilers. Now, when you first start the game, you'll only have access to corridors, hatches, and a few other bits and bobs. You can make a very decent base just using these items. So I believe for my first base I had some corridors like this, and I put a hatch on the side. There we go. And then this is my base.
Oxygen production offline.
So you may have noticed there that it said that we have no power. Now this is the reason why I said that you should go and get some solar panels to start with. So to power up this base and get oxygen working and get the lights turned on, we're going to need to go to this exterior module section and place down a solar panel. Now there are other different types of power generation, such as a thermal plant, and then later on you can get nuclear reactors, bioreactors, and other things to power your base. But for now, the solar panel is going to do just fine. Now this does differ on the power that it generates based on how close you are to the surface, but for our little base here, one solar panel is going to be absolutely fine. So now if we enter our base through this hatch, you can see the lights are on, and we'll be able to recharge our oxygen supply in here. Actually, within our base, you can put down a variety of different modules. So if we go to interior modules, we can see we can place down a new fabricator, communications relay, and a whole bunch of other different things, including power chargers for batteries and power cells, and also grow beds to grow food supplies. Now, most of these items need to be unlocked, and again, you need to find the appropriate blueprints or scan down the items in abandoned sea bases found throughout the world. You will start, however, with a fabricator, communications relay, medical kit fabricator, and the various lockers here, which you can place down in your base. Now, the reason I say that you can start a base fairly simply with just corridors is because you can actually place down things like fabricators actually on the side here. Let's just build one of these, and now this fabricator is ready to use. Now, as long as your base has power, you can use the items within it. If the power ever falls below 0, then the fabricator and any other modules you have inside your base will deactivate, and you will not be able to get oxygen from within your base. In addition to the interior modules, you can extend the base simply by selecting different modules in the base pieces here and then continuing to build. If you need to rotate any of these modules, you can use the Q or E keys as shown in the top left. So for example, if we want to move this so that we can create a nice curve there to our base, and then we can do that just by rotating the pieces. Now the multi-purpose rooms are a much larger structure, and you can see that they connect onto corridors or they can be built standalone. So I'm just going to build one here, and let's also build a hatch so we can get in there. And the hatches on these buildings look slightly different, so that one's kind of just on the side there. This one sticks out a bit, so just bear that in mind when you're building close to rocky areas. So within these much larger rooms, you can place down pretty much any of the other modules in the entire menu. So we can place down lockers, which you can then store additional items in. So we can store our mobile vehicle bay here. And you can place other lockers, which these ones, which you can place actually anywhere in the room if you want to make a large storage area. Let's just get rid of that for now. And the primary use for these large rooms is actually to place down some of the larger structures. For example, the nuclear reactor or the bioreactor require that they go in the center of a big room like this. You cannot place these down in corridors, so you have to build a large room like this. You can also place down filtration machines on the side of these rooms. What this machine actually does is take water from the outside and separate the salt so that you can have salt and clean water to drink. So let's get rid of this for now, just so we can wander around. Now, we mentioned before that we need to keep the hull integrity of this base above 0. Now, foundations are one way to do that. The other way is by using additional modules actually on your base. So these reinforcement plates actually give you 7 hull points, which is a lot better than a foundation which only gives you 2, but it does require lithium to use. Lithium you can find scattered in some of the other biomes. I will leave a notation on there so you can see where to find them, but these just actually attach onto the side of your base and give you a nice X structure and improve the hull integrity. Now these can be placed on the side of these corridors, but they can't be placed on glass corridors. So if you're looking to reinforce your base, you're going to need to use corridors or these rooms. Windows can actually also be placed on these as well, so you can get a nice view from outside of your base here. But they do mean that you can't place items actually on the side there, within the base. Now, as well as the basic multi-purpose room, there are a couple of other types of rooms that you may be interested in. So if I was to build a X section here on the different corridor types, we can place down the Moonpool, the scanner room and the observation deck. Now the Moonpool is an enormous building and it allows you to dock a CMOS ship in below here, and also allows you to gain access to your base through a different means. Now this room is special in the fact that one, you can dock the CMOS, but two, you can also construct modules for your CMOS and any other ships. So if I place down this vehicle modification station, which has to be placed on a flat wall, so for example here, you can see that it says nothing docked, and you can also change the settings of your CMOS, such as the colour or anything else through this menu here. But the most important thing is this fabrication station, and this is how you construct the different modules for both the CMOS and the prawn suit. There we go, it's just a list of all the modules should you be interested. The next room that you may be interested in is the scanner room. Again, this needs to be actually scanned down to find, and is a fairly large structure, a bit like the Moonpool, so I needed to build a corridor here just to move it out of the way. This building allows you to send out probes, which you can remotely control, which allow you to scan down areas of the map, and you can select which type of resource you would like to scan down, so for example limestone chunk, and it will actually show you on the map here where those resources are located. You can also control some of the cameras through this little menu here, and these cameras are independent and can actually be driven around to have a look in areas without having to actually go there yourself. Much like the Moonpool, different upgrades can be crafted through this dedicated fabricator here, and these modules are simply placed into this area here, and then they are activated. The last room that you may be interested in, and which can also be found in abandoned sea bases, is the Observatory. Now this is purely for decoration and essentially gives you a large viewing deck area which you can look out on the world.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
As with other areas of the base, you can put down interior modules, such as, for example, a desk if you want to make yourself a nice viewing area. There we go. And you can also place chairs and other things like that. These items can be found in abandoned sea bases, but also within the Aurora if you were to go and explore inside there. This concludes the base building tutorial. Please leave comments below if you have any questions, like the video if you like it, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.